Well, hello, Liz. You're going to bring me up to date on Tommy Robinson. I know I'm down in South America at the moment, so I'm not fully up to speed on quite a lot of what's going on. But I have heard on the grapevine that his condition is deteriorating and things are not good. Can you fill us all in?
Well, as you probably know, Godfrey, I actually know Tommy very well. And contrary to most people who go up against and say, Tommy Robinson, dreadful man, awful chap, etc., he's none of the things that people hear about on the mainstream media. And I've known Tommy for quite a long time now, fortunately through Lord Pearson and Gerard Batten, who first introduced me, and the wonderful Peter McAvenna from Hearts of Oak. The three of them introduced me to Tommy personally a number of years ago. And I've followed Tommy ever since because I know Godfrey, and I'm sure you do. When you know somebody and you look him in the eye, you can tell when somebody's on the right side or the wrong side. And if he'd been on the wrong side, I would have walked away no matter what anybody would have told me. Tommy's on the right side. Now, Tommy is in prison, as you know, for supposed contempt of court, which he put his hands up to. When he went to court in the Old Bailey, he wasn't allowed to produce information and evidence before the court. Now, this to me is absolutely outrageous. This was way back, and the only way he could get the truth out was to produce a video as a journalist would. Went out and interviewed people and actually put it out. Now, the judge said that this could not be put out. And eventually it went over to America. The film Silenced was first of all shown in America, and then Tommy thought, to hell with it. People need to know the truth, Godfrey. And you and I have spent our lives trying to tell people the truth. Now, we've not been on the right side of politics, either of us, and I don't mean right as from left, I mean right from wrong. We've always tried to tell people exactly what's happened. Anyway, Tommy goes to court for contempt of court because he's shown the film which he was told not to, and he's sentenced. And off he goes, first of all to Belmarsh. Now, bearing in mind, he is a civil prisoner. This is not a criminal offence. This is a civil offence. So he's sent off to Belmarsh, and then from there he's sent to Woodhill, which is Milton Keynes, HMP Woodhill at Milton Keynes. And he's put in solitary confinement. Now, they're trying to say this is for his own safety, because as you know, Tommy, who hasn't a racial bone in his body, and he is absolutely fine with all race, colour, religion, etc., but he does not like rape gangs, particularly Pakistani Muslim rape gangs. Woodhill is full of Pakistani Muslims. It's the only way I can describe it. So they put him in solitary confinement. He's been there for over 130 days. Now, he has had visits stopped. He's had his bone taken off him, although I think that's now been returned. And the actual treatment of him, Godfrey, there are, I think, the Moors murderers, and you go back as well as I do to the horrific case of the Moors murderers, they were treated better than a civil prisoner in Woodhill prison. He's been living on tinned tuna and tinned mackerel. That has been his diet. He had his phone taken off him because he is a wonderful family man. People don't understand Tommy and don't know anything about him really. And he was only allowed to speak to one member of the family at a time. But when he was speaking to a member of the family, as I understand it, his son, who is now must be 12 or 13 years old, came into the room and spoke to his father. So there were two people instead of one. So he had his phone taken off him. This is a family man who is on solitary confinement for 130 days. Since then, the team around him, his legal team, have had a team of medical people, professionals go in, and they are really, really worried about him. His mental health has deteriorated, and of course, his physical health. I think he looks something like a skeleton. So, this is the treatment that somebody has been put under for actually exposing the truth of what actually goes on. And you talk about two-tier policing, Godfrey, that's where we're at in this country now.
Well, we saw the same with Julian Assange, didn't we? Solitary confinement, no writ of habeas corpus. And the difference here, of course, is that now what we're talking about is a civil offence, not a criminal offence. And he is quite clearly a political prisoner, as what you've just told us shows quite clearly.
Yeah.
I know that the press will make absolutely sure that they give the wrong picture of him. I know that much. And this is a conspiracy because we don't have a free press. I don't know, I haven't met Tommy Robinson, but what I do know is the difference between an ordinary prisoner from contempt of court or supposed contempt of court or a political prisoner. And it's clearly he's a political prisoner under the most appalling circumstances, it seems to me. Because under our own constitution, which we have, which a lot of people don't think we do have, but we do in this country, he is now suffering cruel and unusual punishment, which is against the British Constitution. There's no reason for him to be in that prison. He should be in somewhere like Ford Open Prison or something of that nature for a civil offence. So all this is quite disgraceful. And if you're watching this, this is on my channel, but if you're watching this, whatever you may think you know about Tommy Robinson or whatever you may perceive to be the situation, whether you're pro or anti Tommy Robinson as an individual has got nothing to do with it. This is un-British, it's against our constitution, and it leaves the same amount of shame on our nation as does the intimidation of Julian Assange. This is the country's judicial system is going down the pan. Judicial appointments are now highly politicized under what is a government which is tantamount to the government, frankly, of the Germany in the 1950s, East Germany in the 1950s. It's a national disgrace. And if there are any serious journalists out there who pick up on what I know I do have some, grow a pair of balls, grow a spine, and do what you know you need to do to be right. So thank you, Liz, for bringing it to our attention and coming onto my channel. And I shall certainly beat the drum when I can. I'm in South America at the moment, but I won't be here for another. I'll be back in April from South America. And again, I will do what I like. It is a great shame. It is a great shame that the leadership of reform can't actually grow a spine. If reform aren't prepared to support a political prisoner, whatever they think of him, or a political prisoner, what is the point of them? And I ask the leadership of reform, if you see this clip, what the hell is the point of you?
Well, let me go a little bit further, Godfrey, because you've been away. Rupert Lowe, over a week ago, said that he was going to raise, he didn't say he supported Tommy Robinson at all. What he said was he was going to raise the conditions under which he is being kept in the House of Commons. And I turned to my husband and said, Rupert Lowe will not last another week. And as it so happens, because the people that are in control of the Reform Party, we all think it's Nigel and Richard Tice, the people that really are in control have got no control over Rupert Lowe. Rupert Lowe, I believe, has got no baggage whatsoever, Godfrey. You know as well as I do, people are in the House of Commons with no baggage. They can say what they like, and they don't like it. In fact, they try every way to suppress it. And I strongly believe that is the whole reason why Rupert Lowe has been dealt the blow and the set of cards that he's now been dealt. He actually mentioned he was going to raise the Tommy Robinson case in the House of Commons.
Well, I did a half-an-hour interview, you might have seen it, with Professor Ed Dutton on that situation, and I've made my views on that extremely clear. But I say again, before I sign off, because I've only got limited time available to me here in South America, but I say again, reform leadership, where are you? Because at the moment, you're an embarrassing disgrace. As most of you know, my work is very heavily independently research-based, and I get my information from all over the world. It would help if you press the subscribe button and the little bell next to it, because the more subscribers I have, the more likely it is that international independent research institutes will share their material with me. It's most helpful, and then of course I automatically share it with you. So, surprise, won't cost you anything. Thank you very much.